My gameplay for Tetris has lasted for about 5 hours. That's a long time of gameplay for the Virtual Boy, since the virtual video system is more demanding of your eyes of sight. From the looks of things, Tetris is something of a mystery. It's a Japanese influence, and with such strength of haiku-like viewpoint. You get courses or levels that display the seasons in motion of block-to-block combat of performance into high scores. Honestly, I don't entirely understand this Virtual Boy game. A Japanese system would likely understand this game more. What you must consider is that the game is really surreal and virtuous of weather and graphics and display. A level can have stars reaching for the sky, or clowns with toys in particular mannerism, or woods upon fantasy of black and red vibrations, or a background over subtle plants and virtual landscape under red lights of natural futures and such. It's very mysterious. Actually, around half of the challenges draw a blank for me. I've done research into Tetris, now I'm still mystified. Not to mention, I took elementary Japanese in Bakersfield College, so this is pretty surprising. The gameplay does appear to work well, even if there's mystery behind the curtains and in front of viewership. Virtual effects around to loose red and reflecting black near my kitchen light. Please don't ask me to play for longer than 5 hours. That would kill my eyes. But from what I see, the graphics and feature presentation is impressive compared to Tetris for the Game Boy. Tetris for the Virtual Boy is longer, smoother, and extremely graceful, partly because of this fairly unique controller, and also because of the red light dial that resembles a morning alarm clock. Game instructions draw a line, but I can't exactly reach it in my current literacy. IQ plays a role for vid games because we have intelligence for goals and directions. It's natural. Gamers with higher IQ may find the game either more satisfying or more repetitive. At least my short review covers a short game. Reviewers and critics of vid games today have often not been increasing their length of reviewing, while video games in modern times have been longer and longer. We used to have shorter games in the 90s, such as Tetris Boxer, which you could complete in just a couple hours. But now it seems like there are these games where it's where it seems like some kind of pretentious Lord of the Rings fellowship, where it's one thing to do all the other things, and you follow a bunch of creeps and do a lot of meaningless stuff for years and years, and yeah, that's kind of weird. Well, now we have modern gamers who give short reviews for long video games from the modern era. This is perhaps a degree of injustice for literature and art. My short review does cover Tetris well. However, I don't think the length of this review would be suitable for a modern video game that plays for 40 hours or more. I mean, the Virtual Boy is more like a Nickelodeon. It's you look at it for a half an hour or something and play some game that's more like a minigame and move on, of course. The Video Game Critic has written short reviews for all games for the most part, and that's because the Atari 2600 video game library existed during his childhood. Almost all Atari 2600 games are very short. In comparison to most Atari 2600 games, something for example, Tetris Boxer for the Virtual Boy, or even Tetris, would be a much, much longer game. I can play Tetris for about 30 minutes at a time, which isn't too bad. Getting a high score with Tetris gameplay does take getting used to. For starters, consider the table you're playing a Virtual Boy on. You're likely going to need a table for the Virtual Boy. I don't don't recommend playing the Virtual Boy on your face while on the ground, because the Virtual Boy does not have appropriate dimension for your nose and eyebrows. It's best to just take a quick look and enjoy the virtual world of the Tetris. And definitely, this is the Virtual Boy controller, as you can see here, but this is not really one of the best Nintendo controllers. In my personal experience, I say the two best Nintendo controllers I've played are Nintendo 64 controller and Nintendo GameCube controller. In my personal record, for my own personal fashion, I say, with my opinion of it, the other Nintendo controllers are more like cheap gimmicks with not much juice on the fly. And that's just really how it is, for consideration. It's important to have, those kinds of controllers where it's they really stand out. As in, even the buttons feel constantly different and engaging and, stimulating to your assumptions. Or I should say, even against your assumptions. I say it's a good controller, something like this, when it's it acts against what your normal prejudice would be like, and it makes you be more doubtful of the future of your past ignorance of the challenge. And there's definitely a lot of room in Nintendo's future for more innovation in terms of controllers, but it's up to Nintendo. There's definitely a lot of Nintendo Switch fanaticism here and there. There's the Switch 2 coming up, but it's well, okay. A lot of the Switch 2 already is wasted because the controller just on the console of the Switch 2 is seemingly exactly almost the same as the Switch 1. I mean, what's the point? I mean, don't you older gamers, if you're 40 years older, maybe some of you are video game reviewers for a professional video game website or something. Don't you even remember how disappointing it was that the Sega Saturn controller looked and felt almost exactly the same as the Sega Genesis controller? So if that was disappointing for you, then why are you changing your mind now and saying that the Switch 2 is okay when the Switch 2 resembles the Switch 1 almost exactly with the controller function? I mean, you have to make up your mind. I mean, what are you here for on Earth? What is your purpose? And definitely, those kinds of video game reviewers that you follow for years and years, who constantly change their minds and do not know what they believe in, those reviewers need to be kicked in the butt and get out of here. Because it's good gosh, I mean, we're trying to follow reviewers from time to time just to see, who other people are. And, if we get these, hypocritical critics and such who are walking in random directions, we might as well take off their shoes and stick it up their butt. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, you wouldn't allow someone like that at camp. I mean, because all of the soldiers in some kind of important mission would fall away to the disuse of failing combat. It would not work at all. And for that reason, I mean, there's got to be something of a balance when it comes to absolute focus of not only where our knowledge is, but where our ignorance is. Definitely, this review is for Totoro Boxer. Actually, no, the Tetris for the Virtual Boy. And if you have never seen a Virtual Boy, just go on the internet and type Virtual Boy. You'll see it. It's a red headset with hooks and those kinds of things. And in a lot of ways, I think the Virtual Boy is actually easier to play with than those virtual Quest systems. And the reason is because the headset stands on a hook, and the hook just remains on a firm, flat table. Sure, that does limit the types of games you can play, but the Virtual Boy is very safe when you play it on a table, even if you have to rest your eyes a little bit more to play for more than an hour and such in a day. But now it's we get these new virtual headset systems like the Quest and such, or the Sony or the Microsoft and such, whatever may come in the future. And these modern futuristic headsets, well, they're still going to hurt your eyes. In fact, I would say even because of the additional graphics, your eyes are going to hurt even more because, as a general theory, in my personal opinion of it with video game experience, the more graphics you add to a video game, the more energy a gamer's eyes need to observe the graphics, because we need energy in our bodies to, see the things in a game. Like, as in, this is a square, this is a circle, this is a rifle, this is an arrow, this is a crystal, this is a puppy, this is a wolf, this is a vampire, Like, we need energy for our eyes very much, in our minds, to observe a lot of what video games have. And recently in my time, because of my age and everything, I have been losing some of my past youth and vigor of my past self, and for that reason, because of my older age, I cannot play video games like I used to, and so modern games can be too much for me, because they could require so much energy that it's like I would have to run an Olympic marathon to play these video games. And it does get ridiculous, because you can even go to, the X social media website or the Facebook social media website, and you see a lot of these modern gamers who are doing ridiculous stunts and muscle pull-ups and such at gyms for beefy arms and legs and bodies and such, and it gets to the point that I have to say, well, then it's not really a video game anymore. Then it's just some kind of athletic simulation for military intelligence. And, sure, maybe Teleroboxer does look a little creepy in red and black, but it's not something really that much related to military intelligence. Artificial intelligence did exist 30 years ago and more and such, but now it's like it's gotten so high that I would rather just play older games first and only touch the new ones when I'm able. You take care. Happy holidays.